Hey, welcome back to SoberNow.com. I'm Jim LaPierre. Today we're going to be talking about the fear of judgment and the fear of rejection because those tend to go hand in hand and they're common not just in early recovery but at all phases of recovery when we're conflicted about ourselves, when we're feeling self-conscious, insecure, anxious. We have a nasty tendency to project our opinion and decide that how I feel about me is how you feel about me too. Now, I met with a really great lady this morning who was describing feeling very self conscious and very anxious, and she's comparing herself to her peers, to her colleagues, to her friends, to her family, and she kept using that expression that we all know and love. These seem like people that have their shit together, and I'm a person who's just a mess. This is what she's telling me. And as she's describing the kind of self-consciousness and insecurity that she feels being around them, what I notice is this kind of one-size-fits-all perspective where everybody in her life obviously are judging her. They're all coming to the same conclusions about her. And everybody's opinion, conveniently, matches up to her own. And this is what we do to ourselves. We project our opinion and decide that other people see us the same way we do. And what I asked her was, would she be open to the possibility that there are a lot of people who don't give a shit one way or the other? And that kind of took her back a bit. She was not really sure how to take that. And I said, well, maybe some of these people that you're so concerned are judging you are also people who fear being judged, and so maybe they don't take time out of their busy day to do that. Or maybe they're so overwhelmed by their own problems that they're not taking time out of their busy day to judge you. Or maybe they're people who actually like you and afford you the benefit of a doubt. And if you're awkward or self-conscious, then they don't really think about that because they know what that feels like. Maybe they're even patient with you. Maybe they're kind. But when we're wrapped up in ourselves, when we're wrapped up in judging ourselves, we project and we decide that everybody must see how ridiculous we are, what a mess we are, how inadequate we are. That's just not true. My friends in AA have an expression, you know what people think about you? They don't. This is the self-centeredness that is unintentional. It's not even meant to be selfish. But we decide that if something's wrong, it must be me. If I'm not doing a good job, people must think poorly of me. If the outcome is disappointing, then it's my fault, even if it's something I didn't have control over. So I encourage folks to notice when they're projecting, and what I tell them about to consider is that maybe it's not the judgment of others that's the real problem. Maybe it's the judgment that you have of yourself. And I challenge a lot of folks to consider this because what I notice is the ways in which we critique ourselves are very different than how we critique others. It's kind of like the fear of public speaking. If you have to get up and speak in front of folks, maybe you're a person that feels uncomfortable with that and you're convinced that you sounded like an idiot. But when you hear someone else do public speaking, you're patient with them, you're kind in your judgment of them, you know how scary it is to be up there, and so you don't judge them harshly. And this is just one more way in which, in recovery, we tend to have two sets of everything. And in this case, we have two sets of judging and critiquing people. One for ourselves and one for everybody else. So the lesson here is lighten up. Think about the people that you're sharing things with and try to see it from their point of view. Maybe these are healthy people who care about you. Maybe their judgment is not the same as your judgment. If it's really important to you to know what they think, here's a crazy idea. Ask them. But don't assume that your opinion or your truth is more valid than anybody else's. And I bet you don't do that with anybody else or about anything else. Only with ourselves do we decide that we know better than other people what the truth is. And we thank them, but we deflect the compliment. We're not really open to their patience. We're not really open to their kindness because we're too busy condemning ourselves. So, notice when you're comparing and stop. It's always a disservice. It's usually based in insecurity, and it's not like you're a fair judge of you. Be open to outside feedback. If you need constructive criticism, that's great. Ask for that. But when people tell you that you did a good job or they tell you that it's fine, listen to your gut. Follow your intuition. Are they just being kind or do they really mean it? We have a tendency to ask for feedback and then reject what's given to us. So, just for today, let's practice being open to suggestions. Let's practice judging ourselves as fairly as we can. In fact, let's not even worry about judgment. Let's just do the best that we can, and that's good enough for today. And then as we go through the course of recovery, we'll continue to improve and grow. Everything else is a projection, and insecurities are simply reasons why we believe we're not good enough. So, those reasons are a lie. You are good enough, meaning that you are lovable and acceptable exactly as you are. If there are things that you don't like about yourself, whether they're defects of character or things that are objectively unhealthy, great. Let's turn those into goals and change them. But let's make sure we have a lot of accountability for those and that we allow ourselves support and encouragement for those. So, practice being good to you today. Use the golden rule in reverse. Treat yourself the way you treat others. Things will get better. Send me lots of email, jim@sobernow.com. Please help by sharing the videos and putting a like on them. Help us expand the conversation and get some more folks involved. Thank you. Be good to you. Have a great day.